As pet sitting abroad sounds really glamorous, right? And it is until you're jet lagged, living out of a suitcase, and you realize you forgot the salt and wrinkle-free clothing. Today, I'm going to share a few tips that will help you stay calm, organized, and ready for pet sitting. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Khalidah, and this is Fearless Over 50, where I share the journey of starting over, trying new things, and living boldly after 50. In today's video, I am going to share some tips with you about traveling smart while pet sitting abroad. Part one is big picture planning, what to expect before you sit. So let's talk about luggage allowance and limitations. Most airlines are going to have a luggage limitation. If you're traveling internationally, you can bring your personal baggage, carry-on, and you are allowed to check one item. That one item is going to weigh a maximum of 50 pounds. You can bring a second suitcase that you can check, and it's normally going to cost about $110 to carry a second suitcase. So you have to think about how long are you going to be away, and how much luggage are you going to need? I did carry an extra suitcase, so I did pay the $110 to carry an extra suitcase. You're not going to be able to pack everything, so you want to make sure that you pack with intention. Think about what you are going to need and make sure that when you pack things that you really know you're going to need. Remember, you only have 50 pounds. If you carry in 2 suitcases, then you have 100 pounds. You want to make sure that within that you pack what you need. And how long are you going to stay away? How long do you need to survive without being home? Another thing that you want to think out before you leave is, what does transportation look like for you when you arrive? Okay, if you don't have a car and you're not going to rent a car, then you want to be sure that whatever you're traveling with is something that you can get on and off of transportation, so you're able to manage your own luggage. I'm packing for 6 months, so I have to think about, what am I going to need for the next 6 months? What is my clothes rotation going to look like for the next 6 months? And I want to make sure that I have all of those things with me. When I was packing, I used packing cubes. Packing cubes are so great because you can separate your things, all your tops, your bottoms, your underwear, your dresses. Or if you get them and you separate them into packing cubes, then when you need something, you know exactly where to go, and it's just a really, really good way to keep yourself organized. I'm only going to be driving a small Mini Cooper, so I want to make sure that my luggage can fit into it, and it's going to be in an organized way so that I can get what I need and get it easily. The other reason why I like the idea of packing cubes is because when you're going through the airport, your goal is making sure that your suitcases are not more than 50 pounds. Now, that might not lend itself to you organizing your luggage in a way that is actually going to be logical for you while you're pet sitting. You just want to be able to make sure that suitcase is not going to be overweight. What I did was I had all my heavy items in my carry-on. Shoes tend to be really heavy, and if you have things like swimwear or that kind of swimwear material, those things are going to be heavy. My hijabs were heavy. So what I did was I packed my heavier stuff in my suitcase that I'm using as my carry-on. And I also had like one of those travel bags, and I also packed a lot of my wires and heavy things in that. And then in my suitcase, I had lighter things, but 50 pounds worth of luggage in both of my suitcases. So once I got to my destination, the key was I need to reorganize all of this. So think about what you're going to need and think about how you can travel in a way that you're going to meet the requirements of the airline. And also, when you get to your first sit, you want to make sure that you can reach for the things that you need without actually having to go through and unpack everything. Packing cubes are also important because when you get to your first sit, you might not necessarily be able to unpack everything straight away. And you might not want to unpack everything straight away. So if you got things in a packing cube, you can just reach for your toiletries really quickly. You can reach for your sleepwear really quickly. It's just a way of being able to reach for what you need without having to go crazy. You may not have control over how you pack your suitcase because of the weight requirements, but you can definitely have control about what is inside of your suitcase. If you're like me and you're particular about ironed clothes, you want to make sure that you pack at least a few items, if not everything, that is wrinkle-free, because things are going to be folded up and they're going to go through a lot when you're traveling. So on that first day, when you change your clothes, you want to be able to put something on that doesn't need ironing. And if you are going to pack things that need ironing, do you need a travel iron? The last thing that you want to be stressed about is crumpled clothing or trying to find an iron at your first pet sit. Remember, not everybody cares about irons, so you might not have an iron at your first pet sit. Organizing your things that you're going to need in the kitchen is really important. Kitchen comfort and must-haves. You can get those cloth cubes. If you go to Whole Foods, you can get the ones that they have handles. Having those cubes for the kitchen will help you to organize your spices, organize your vitamins, just have everything organized so that as you're trying to get something, you don't have to be digging up any bag or anything. That's a really good idea. Then what you can have in those cloth cubes, you can put your spices, your teas, anything that you think is a must-have that you really, really know you can't survive without. You want to make sure that you have those things. Like for me, I like to have golden milk every night. Golden milk is a specific milk and you need specific ingredients. I made sure that I packed little samples of everything so that I know my first night at my sit, I can pull out the things that I need and I can have my golden milk so I know I can have myself a good night's sleep. Remember that you're going to be crossing time zones. You're going to be tired. So when you get to where you're going, you're probably not going to want to go shopping. And even if you do go shopping, you're probably not going to go to a big supermarket. You're just going to want to go somewhere that's local, some little small shop. They might not have the things that you want if you have very specific things. Think about, what do you think you're going to need for that first day or two, especially that first night and that first morning? What are the things that you're going to need? Try to have those things so that you can make sure that when you wake up in the morning, you are going to be fine. Having these little comforts can just make your time away feel a little bit more comfortable and help you with your creature comforts. So when you're packing, having a few systems in place and a few creature comforts is going to make all the difference to how you feel when you wake up that first morning. Pack for the you who's tired, the you who wants to remain grounded. You want to be prepared for everything. You want to be able to feel like I have the things that I need and be able to function. An important thing to remember when you are applying for sits is a decline. Don't take it personally. You're going to get a lot of declines. That's the point of applying for a lot of the same dates. I apply for at least 3 sits a day. So clearly, I'm going to get a lot more people declining me than I am going to get accepting me. Don't worry about that. Just keep on chugging along. Eventually, somebody is going to accept your application. Don't give up. That yes is coming soon. Pet sitting abroad can be very exciting. If you choose the right places, it can be really, really nice. The place where I'm staying at today, these guys are so organized. The house is so beautiful. It's so clean. I feel like I'm at an Airbnb. Absolutely awesome. What are your travel non-negotiables, and do you have any favorite packing tips that you want to share? If you want some help getting started with Trusted House Sitters or planning your first sit abroad, then feel free to reach out. I do offer consults. I would be happy to support you. And as always, I invite you to like, subscribe, and share. All of the links are down below for the retreat, the Trusted House Sitter link, and a downloadable PDF for today's video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, then please feel free to go ahead and drop a comment down below. If you haven't already, don't forget to check out our Beyond Enough retreat. It's a retreat for women who are ready to receive. We'll be talking about the 7 archetypes for abundance. I'll drop the link down below, so please check us out. Would love to see you there. The spaces are very limited, so don't miss out. Stay tuned for the next update. Assalamu alaikum.